First you write the question, then you can have, I will give you how to think also, how to develop the answer also from the same content whatever we have. Write the question. We deal with both Neolithic also, Chalcolithic also. Question is, what are the characteristics what are the characteristics of Neolithic period? Neolithic period in India. Explain with archaeological evidence. Explain with archaeological evidence. Now you see, because whenever you get the question, how to think about it. The first thing which you should remember is the India map. It is talking about Neolithic period in India. Geography is India, Neolithic period. I will draw the map, you need not to do, later you are going to draw this. In? Huh. It is always better, suppose I will show this. Generally what UPSC does, this is the UPSC paper, it prints, it goes left side, right side, margins. It prints here. Now here question is printed, now this particular space is given to you. If it is 1 page, 2 page, 3 page, it doesn't matter. Now when you are writing, suppose here the question is asked about what are the characteristics of Neolithic period in India. Before reading the question, you read 2-3 times, then only you will get the essence of it. Then you underline the phrases also. It is mainly talking about Neolithic period, India, and this one, characteristics. Another one is this one. Now you have to develop the answer with these two subtopics, or you can say parts of, there are 2 parts in the question. One part is about the characteristics of Neolithic period, second one is archaeological evidence also. But how you give, how you design is completely depending on the student way of writing. Now to think, how to think about the question means, now you have only this much space. Now you are going to write first part and second part, or both parts can be combined in such a way that both parts are answered. Now we are writing, suppose answer. Now while you are writing, you can make a box, and in that box you just make the map. That way. Suppose if question is mainly focusing on the map, then you give more space. More space means now you can convert this small map into big map. Depending on the demand of the question, if question demanding definitely clear-cut image, then you give the big space. Otherwise, you can go for small image right side and you can show that. Now in this part, first we have to give the introduction, and for introduction we will write this way. Suppose introduction goes like this. While you are writing the UPSC answer, you are not going to mention like introduction, body, conclusion. You are not going to. You are going to write straightly. But the first paragraph is going to be the introduction. Then you will start the characteristics. Then you will write, while you are writing the characteristics, there itself you can give archaeological evidence. Because it is asking, explain these characteristics with archaeological evidence. There itself, now you are going to bring as many characteristics as possible. So this is the way, this is completely how to write UPSC answer. Now you see, you have some idea about Neolithic, but now you have to convert that knowledge into this particular part. I will give dictation also so that you will get idea. You will get content also as well as the structure also. For the explanation, I am drawing this. Characteristics of Neolithic period. Now you know there are certain sites which have given us Neolithic. For example, Mehergarh is one area, or simply northwestern part, Burjhom, Gufurkal, one area we got. Then this area we have, and this area also we have, and north east also we have some sites. So you try to imagine across Indian subcontinent, these are the locations where we identified Neolithic settlements. Now in these Neolithic settlements, you just have one particular reference. For example, here we have Burjhom, Mehergarh. Here you have so many places, Brahmagiri. Then here we have Koldihwa, Mahagara, Chirand, here Davojali, Hadi. Now the moment after seeing the question, if you imagine India map with some examples, now whatever you are going to write, now you are going to write a few examples from different locations, and you are going to show this map also in the answer, so that answer becomes complete. Now you need to develop the introduction and conclusion. In between, you are going to show all these things. Sanju, all right? All right, Sanju? This is the way you are going to handle the question, UPSC question. Now, you write the introduction. Write the introduction. The Neolithic period in India under this. The Neolithic period in India spanning from around, what is the beginning stage of Neolithic period in India? 7000 BCE in Mehergarh. Around 7000 Which one? Yes. You can mention, because it is introduction, either you can mention or anyway you are going to explain in the body also, those places. Spanning from around 7000 BCE to about 1000 BCE. The Neolithic period in India, spanning from around 7000 BCE to about 1000 BCE, is characterized by several key features. Characterized by several key features that distinguish it, that separates it from previous eras. Previous era is Mesolithic and Paleolithic. Comparing with those, completely different characteristics Neolithic developed. Okay? Now we are saying distinguished features. We are bringing with the characteristics, the term characteristics or features we are going to bring in the introduction. Now the moment characteristics means how they lived, what is their subsistence pattern. Comparing with the Mesolithic and Paleolithic, yesterday we have seen the subsistence pattern is moving from lower Paleolithic to upper Paleolithic, Mesolithic to Neolithic. Earlier hunting and gathering, later domestication of animals, then agriculture. Neolithic is known for the emergence of agriculture practices. That's why we call the agriculture revolution at this point of time. Also, we God on child. Now you need to bring those people also wherever possible. We God on child, Neolithic revolution. First heading, give the heading, development of agriculture. Development of agriculture. So, for example, here I will write, don't write here, just for your explanation. In these places, agriculture, different people practiced agriculture, then they domesticated animals also. The technology they used is polished stone tool, and they have, once agriculture develops, they produce the grain. To store the grain, they need pottery. For cooking food also, they need pottery. And they developed pottery. Then, once a settled life comes, then they develop certain kind of religious beliefs also. These are the characteristics in Neolithic period. These things only we are going to write in the form of answer. Right. First heading is development of agriculture. Development of agriculture. Under it you are going to write. The Neolithic period is primarily marked by the shift from a nomadic hunter-gatherer lifestyle, from a nomadic hunter-gatherer lifestyle to settled farming communities. Now you see, we know agriculture, but how we frame the sentence in the answer, This is one way of writing the answer. Earlier, comparing with earlier, that was hunter-gatherer, to this is the major characteristic of this period. This is evidenced by, question is asking about characteristic and archaeological evidence. Now we are explaining characteristic. Now we give some evidence also. This is evidenced by discoveries of polished stone axes, in bracket you can give celts, polished stone axes, celts, comma, grinding stones, and the plant remains of wheat, comma, barley, from Mehergarh. Now you brought evidence also. You are explaining with a sentence, characteristic you are explaining. When it comes to archaeological evidence, you are bringing the archaeological evidence. At Mehergarh. And rice at Bilan Valley. You are bringing Bilan Valley also. Bilan Valley, full stop. Ragi was produced in South India. Ragi was produced. So now you see, you are bringing different evidence from different parts of the country, different items in different way. This is the model answer or reference answer for you. Depending on the question type, depending on the nature of the question, whether it is 10 mark, 15 mark, 20 marker, you try to bring as much evidence. After seeing the map, we are going to do at least 400 site map. In those maps, for each and every site, you are going to get the characteristics. Mehergarh, we will get some characteristic. Burjhom, we get. Bilan Valley, we will get. At this stage, you are getting few evidences. But after knowing the map, you will get a lot of evidence. You try to give as many evidences as possible. But framework is going to be like this. Next one. Domestication of animals. Another characteristic. Domestication of animals. The domestication of animals, continue. The domestication of animals like cattle, comma, sheep, comma, goats, and dogs became a common practice. Became a common practice. Became a common practice. This provided communities. Sanju, are you writing? If you come through video, it would be good. If video is not possible, fine. You can keep messaging me if you have any doubts. The domestication of animals like cattle, comma, sheep, goats, and dogs became common practice. They provided communities with a constant source of food. Constant source of food, comma, hide, and bone tools. Bone tools. Bone tools. Evidence of this has been found at evidence of this has been found at Mehergarh, Burjham, Halur, in bracket Karnataka. Halur is in Karnataka, full stop. Next characteristic is polished stone tools. Polished stone tools. The Neolithic period saw the emergence of polished stone tools. Polished stone tools replacing the crude stone tools of the Mesolithic. Crude stone tools of the Mesolithic, full stop. These tools were sharper. And more efficient. Polished stone tools are identified in almost all Neolithic settlements in India. Because we know about all these Neolithic settlements from these stone tools only. In northeast, Davojali Hadding, also gave the evidence of Neolithic tools. Next one, pottery production. Pottery production. The manufacturing and use of pottery. The manufacturing and use of pottery for storage and cooking. Became prevalent during this period. They invented wheel. And wheel was also used for making pottery. Fire in Paleolithic. Then when it comes to wheel, that is the difference between Mesolithic pottery and Neolithic pottery. Mesolithic pottery is handmade pottery. Handmade. In Neolithic, handmade pottery also continued. New invention is wheel. That's why when we discussed about Neolithic revolution, we Gordon Child, he mentioned about agriculture practice also, wheel also, and pottery, and completely transformation in the transportation system. Because wheel came. All those made Neolithic revolution. But it was a gradual process, slow process. But these are the features. Wheel. Evidence of pottery production. Evidence of pottery production comes from Chirand in Bihar. What is the purpose of drawing map is examiner will not feel difficulty in identifying. After drawing these things, after explaining all these things, you have in your mind, you know where is Burjholm, you know where Davos heading, you know mentally. But if you show to the examiner that with the proper marking, and these are the things, obviously, even without reading your answer line by line, because line by line reading with the grammar, difficult task. After correcting so many papers, practical, I am saying. If examiner get the feeling that, but just by seeing the map, yes, you have understood the concept correctly and you know the evidence. And if you have written all the 3 pages or 2 pages, automatically you will get the maximum score. But only issue is you have to give as many places as possible, as much evidence as possible. This evidence, as your classes will go on, you are going to increase. In the initial phases, I am just giving few evidences only, the structure. My ultimate purpose is to make you to write proper structured answers. Content, as your classes will progress, you are going to increase the content automatically. Chirand. Next, art and crafts. Fifth one. Art and crafts. Now you see, agriculture came, domestication came, industrial activities also coming. So these are the major characteristics of historic period. But the beginning stage is Neolithic. Neolithic people developed skills. They developed skills in crafting, various items by using the raw materials like clay and stone. Terracotta figurines. Tradition also started during Neolithic. When we are going to discuss about Harappans, you are going to see almost all these things only. Neolithic period. Terracotta figurine tradition started in Neolithic period. When it comes to Harappa, we are going to see same characteristics. They also know agriculture, they also know domestication, they also know pottery, they also know art and artisans, but they reached very high level, advanced level. And they lived in cities. Now Neolithic people, one characteristic is village. We are going to write. They lived in villages, Harappan people urban. So now you see the foundation for Harappan civilization laid by Neolithic people and Chalcolithic people later. This is the same area, and this is the same area where Neolithic people already. Now Mehergarh, we are talking 7000 BC. Harappans emerged around 2500 BC. From 7000 BC to 2500, how many thousands of years? So much progress has taken place. Indigenously, some developments are taking place, and also external contacts also. This continuous interaction is very common. And this side contacts, and this side contacts, and this side contacts. This cultural exchange is always, throughout the history, it is there. That's why whatever is happening here, it is also going to impact here. Same thing, whatever is happening, it impacts there also. So this cultural interaction, same thing here also. But only this area emerged in the initial stage. That's why Neolithic settlement emerged first. Evidence comes from this area, and as we grow, it will go like this. 7000, this side 1000 BC. This side 3000. This will go on. Arts and crafts. Mehergarh, example you give. Mehergarh provide the evidence of various arts and crafts. Mehergarh provide the evidence of various arts and crafts. Next characteristic, permanent village settlements. Permanent village settlements. Mehergarh is considered as the first village in Indian subcontinent. First village in the Indian subcontinent. In bracket 7000 BCE. They used mud bricks for houses construction. Houses construction and wattle and daub. By using the palm leaves. This is thatched. Even today also we find these kind of houses. So this is the beginning of house construction. When it comes to Paleolithic and Mesolithic, they were living in the caves, naturally available homes, caves. Artificial homes also started. In Neolithic period, just Mesolithic just began. By Neolithic, it became very common. Wattle and daub, material also used for house making. Mud bricks and wattle. Now you see village settlements, the kind of material they used for house making. Wattle and daub. Okay, now in places like Burjaham, what type of houses you will give? Evidence. Pit dwellings. In places like Burjahom, you continue the statement. In places like Burjahom, they lived in pit dwellings. They lived in pit dwellings. Last one. Early forms of religious practices. Early forms of religious practices. This question, characteristics, you are going to get throughout our history. Characteristics of Neolithic came, characteristics of Chalcolithic will come, characteristics of Harappan, characteristics of Vedic people, characteristics of Mauryan Empire. This is very, very common line or common word in our examination. Almost in all the places we are going to get the similar kind of structure. Early forms of religious practices. Neolithic people also had some beliefs that we can infer as rudimentary form of religious beliefs. Rudimentary form of religious beliefs. They buried their dead bodies. With various materials and objects. With various materials and objects like pottery, food grains, etc. Full stop. This shows they might have the belief of afterlife. They might have the belief of afterlife. So this is
every civilization. Why this belief is common in every civilization in every corner of the world. You see the Mayan civilization, they also follow the same. Aztec also same. Egyptians are famous for mummies, and Harappa also we find that the Neolithic also we find. So why in that period, everyone from every corner of the world, everyone followed afterlife. Now, like Buddhists also like follows that you are going to come back.
karma theory, yes.
Karma, and some people also believe that the body when it is into the soul does not the soul only travels the body because it's a form of energy. Why this belief is there in every civilization?
I don't have any information about how different regions are connected. Like suppose Mayan civilization or Egyptian civilization, they are very part. So many oceans are there. Continuous interaction we cannot expect. Africa, so across the globe, this practice is there. So we can only infer because we don't know the literary evidence. If someone give the, for example, whatever we are talking about Vedic religious beliefs, because we have something to read Vedas. Buddhist texts are there to throw light on how they believe. But when it comes to Neolithic, we don't have anything like that. Only we can infer is whatever objects they are buried. Those objects, they belong to the person when he was or she was living. When it comes to Burjahom, they buried even dogs also along with the people. So those dogs might be very much companion during their lifetime. Yes. So that shows probably they are believing that in next life, that means they might have believed death is a kind of journey to another world. In that journey, they require whatever they used in this journey, in this life. But we don't know. It's only guesswork only. That's why Neolithic period is also the beginning of rudimentary form of religious practices. Now you see, much before Harappans, much before Vedic, whatever Indian civilization later emerged, these practices, most of these practices started in Neolithic period itself. So whatever Indian culture today we are seeing, the final outcome of today's culture is the beginning lies in Neolithic, Mesolithic time period itself. Full stop. Conclusion. Conclusion. These characteristics evidenced by the archaeological findings depict the significant technological, social, economic, and cultural advancements. Made during the Neolithic period in India. How many pages you got? 2 pages? How many? 2 full pages? Or 3? Okay. And Sanju, how many pages you got? 2 pages. 2 pages you got? Okay. So now you see 2 pages means it is 15 marker. Now you draw this India map. You draw India map. You make the markings of these places. Mahagara.
Did you mention the max time
Map, pen and pencil? No, that depends on timing. Actually, you will not have that much time to change to the pencil, pen. It depends on you. If you have time with the proper pencil, no problem. But if you don't have time, with the pen itself, you can make. You are going to do a lot of map practice also. There you will get a lot of content for individual sites. So wherever required, you use those evidences. But this is how framework. Because in practically in 2 pages, 3 pages, you cannot write everything also. But you have to concise it to such a level that most of the characteristics, most of the points are covered also. Most of the areas are touched. Next question. Now content is this thing only, but now you see, if question is asked in a different way, how our structure is going to change. Sanju, have you drawn map? Shall I continue? Next question. Okay, write this question. Delineate and account for the regional characteristics of the Neolithic period in India. Delineate now what it is asking? Delineate and account means throw light on, explain, elaborate, all those regional characteristics of the Neolithic period. Characteristics, whatever we have written now, agriculture, domestication, pottery, religious beliefs, all those are the characteristics. But it is asking about regional characteristics. What does it mean? Regional characteristics means in which regions what type of evidence is coming. Similar structure only, but only Content is same thing.
Like instead of any photo introduction and like it moves up or like that.
Now you have to a different kind of framework will come. That framework I will give. It is asking about this one, different regions and how the characteristics. Now in fact, this was the question. This is 2016. Our 2016 question, this one. Now you see the structure. When it comes to characteristics, same characteristics, but how you, same introduction, whatever introduction you are going to give, the similar kind of introduction you can give. Conclusion also, you can give the similar one, whatever we have discussed. But when it comes to body, it is asking about regional characteristics. What we have to do is, just you divide all these areas into different regions. This area becomes northwest, this area becomes south, this becomes eastern India, northeast and Kashmir. You have to give different headings like this. Northwest. Then you will get some points. Same, some settlements and some characteristics. Kashmir. Settlements and characteristics. South India. Now you see, same content, same points, same places, but depending on the question, you have to organize your structure. Then Eastern India, Central Eastern India, Northeast India. I will give answer also so that you will have both references. Same, because it is talking about characteristics only, regional characters only. Only you are going to bring the term regional in the introduction. That I will give. We have to use the same terminology, whatever UPSC is asking in the question. Now you see how we are going to frame the introduction. Give the introduction. Introduction. Now we are going to see all these characteristics are going to sum up in single line itself. Right. The Neolithic period in India, introduction. The Neolithic period in India is characterized by the advent of agriculture, animal domestication, and the production of polished stone tools, and the emergence of various socio-religious beliefs. Now do you observe, in single paragraph, we have summed up everything, whatever we have written earlier. Earlier we have written 2 pages, but all those 2 pages we summed up in single page itself. Because it is asking about regional. Our main part is going to become this regional. In which area, which evidence, which area, which evidence. But we want to give entire characteristics in single paragraph itself. Full stop. This period displays, now we have to connect that point with this regional. This period displays a fascinating regional variation. A fascinating regional variations in its character. This variation is attributed to This variation is attributed to various factors such as geographical location, comma, climatic conditions, and the influence of local cultures. Local culture. Huh. Now you draw a big map because it is asking about regional characteristics. You have to give the space to map. Now this is how, whether you have to give importance to map or not depends on the kind of question it is asked. Indus River, Ganga River, Krishna, Tungabhadra. done. Because of this geographic location, a different type of agriculture practices, different type of house making. For example, this area is having the influence of this culture also. This area will have the influence of the culture. And this area will have the influence this way. Regional. This area is colder area, cold. Himalayas, you give this big. Himalayas, you mention this also. Because of this location, a different kind of requirement, different house making is required, different crops are produced, different kind of animals are being domesticated. For example, in this area, wheat was grown, conducive for wheat growth. When it comes to Bilan Valley, this is alluvial plain. More water is available. This is more conducive for rice cultivation. Neolithic only. This is also Neolithic. This is also agriculture. This is also agriculture. But the kind of crop they have grown here is different. The kind of crop they dependent is different. When it comes to this area is rain shadow area. Because Western Ghats, even when monsoon comes, these Western Ghats stop the monsoon. Only this part gets more rainfall, this part gets less rainfall. That's why it is called rain shadow region. Whenever rainfall is less, the kind of crops are going to be like ragi, bajra, which are less water intensive. Now you see, rice is very highly water intensive. It is possible because more availability. This place it is not available. That's why these people adapted according to their geographic location. And they also supplemented there with cattle rearing. Even today also drought prone areas, agriculture is not very much conducive. They have to depend on other extra income, that is domestication of animal, cattle rearing. These geographic locations, and here this is full of hilly area, and accordingly a different kind of unique structure, unique culture will emerge over there. Now what is the structure? This one, just you mention this: wheat, rice, ragi, bajra, cattle. Just note down in the map. Okay. Now you see the structure. One by one we are going. First one, northwestern India. Northwestern India. And you include Kashmir also, northwestern India and Kashmir. Now, right. The Neolithic settlements, in regions such as Burjahom, showcased unique dwelling structures. unique dwelling structures. They lived in, full stop, they lived in pit dwellings. They lived in pit dwellings which were circular, or oval pits, which were circular or oval pits dug into the ground. Dug into the ground. Full stop. Now, if I want to give the reason why they might have used these pit dwellings, what could be the reason? So, cold area, Himalayas, to safeguard from cold, they might have, because we don't know, no literary evidence, we cannot study. This was probably, continue the statement, this was probably due to the region's cold climate. Now you got a regional characteristic. Question is asked about delineate and account for the regional characteristics of delineate and account for the regional characteristics of the Neolithic period. We are talking about Neolithic. Example also we brought. But we brought one regional characteristic is related to houses. Full stop. Gangetic plain. Gangetic plain. Gangetic plain people practiced rice cultivation. As early as 5000 BC. As early as 5000 BC. Full stop. Agriculture was well developed. And people lived in mud brick houses. Mud brick houses. Third one, Eastern India. Here I am giving you the structure. What you have to do, if question is for 20 mark, you give some more places also in Gangetic Valley. Those places you will get when I deal with map marking. In Gangetic Valley we have so many places. Whatever Neolithic settlements are there, use the same content to fill this. Eastern India. Chirand in Bihar. shows evidence of pottery, farming, and domestication of animals like cattle, sheep, and goats. Next, South India. South India. Here, there were distinct regional characteristics. There were distinct regional characteristics. In regions like Halur, sheep and goat were domesticated. Sheep and goat were domesticated. Along with the cultivation of ragi, horse gram, and lentils. They were depending on less water intensive crops. Because it is located in rain shadow region. Next, northeastern India. Northeast India. So we are bringing different regions and different characteristics. In sites like Davojali heading, evidence of polished stone tools, and farming practices are discovered. Full stop. Now you see, regional characteristics question is asking, and we have shown northwestern, Gangetic Valley, South India, Northeast India. In all these places we have shown in the map also, this is how. Now as your evidence increases, you are going to fill more and more evidence. Conclusion for this question. These variations in the Neolithic cultures introduction and conclusion always should directly hit the question itself. Those terms you can directly use in the introduction and conclusion. These variations in the Neolithic cultures across different regions of India, show a distinct adaptation to local conditions and resources. And resources, thereby giving rise to unique cultural practices. Thereby giving rise to unique cultural practices. Full stop. Last statement. This period is considered critical. This period is considered critical as it laid the foundation for the subsequent development of culture and civilization in India. Culture and civilization in India. In bracket you can write Harappan civilization. For example, this area, Indus Plain, more resources they exploited, and they also had the advantage of knowledge from the West Asia also, because in West Asia also Neolithic practices, Chalcolithic and civilization practices are going on. Naturally, these ideas are going to influence this. For example, even today also, in Saudi Arabia, Islam rise, and immediate neighboring countries, now they are practicing the Islam. Natural. And here up to Afghanistan and Pakistan, Islam spread. This culture, naturally, it affects this area. For example, when it comes to Sikhism here, it has the characteristics of both Islam from this side and Hinduism from this side. When it comes to this area, this has the practices from this side also, this side also. And when it comes to South India, unique from top also, from here also. These kind of interactions will go on. Later when Sangam age comes in South India, these Sangam age, they have the characteristics of the same Neolithic, later megalithic people are about to come. By the 3000 BCE, here already people were using the copper. They started using the polished stone tools. By the time they started using polished stone tools, copper was also available. That's why these Chalcolithic evidence also comes when Neolithic itself started. The terminology also Neolithic, Chalcolithic we call. This is how regional cultures also influence, geographical factors also influence. As a result, their agriculture practices, their religious beliefs, their practices are going to be different. This is how Neolithic regional characters. Same content, but in a different structure. You have to convert into different way. This is with respect to Neolithic. Now you give the heading Chalcolithic age. chalcolithic age, just you give here chalco means copper, lithic means stone. Copper plus stone combination people started using. This is the continuation of Neolithic age. You give the heading meaning. You write one sentence. The end of the Neolithic period, saw the use of metal. The metal first used was copper. The metal first used was copper. Full stop. Several cultures were based on the use of copper, and stone implements. Stone implements. Copper and stone implements. You give the heading geographical spread. Geographical spread. Questions can be same questions, whatever for Neolithic what we have seen. First question we have seen characteristics of Neolithic period. Same question applies for what are the characteristics of Chalcolithic period. Second question, regional characteristics of the period. Similarly, regional characteristics of Chalcolithic also applies here. When it comes to regional characteristics, again you are going to use the geographical spread. Just you give the list. In India, settlements relating to Chalcolithic phase are found in first one, southeastern Rajasthan, western Madhya Pradesh, western Maharashtra, southern India, eastern India. Eastern India. Now here you give the map and we are going to show what are the important settlements there. If question is what are the regional characteristics of Chalcolithic, same. What are the characteristics of Chalcolithic period means you are going to use the same evidence. Draw India map. Now in India map we are going to show some important places for each and every area. In Rajasthan, there is one copper mining center. Do you have any idea? K3 mines in Rajasthan. Ahar, Giloon, Balatal. We will get some regional names also for these cultures. Malwa culture. Here, Ahar culture. Jorvi culture. Jorvi. Daimabad. Enamgaon. This area, Chirand, Pondurajar Devi, Mahishdal, Mahishdal, yeah. Mahishhdal. Mahishdal in West Bengal. Pondurajar Devi and Mahishdal both are in West Bengal. Chirand in Bihar. These two are in West Bengal. Near your house. Okay, Mahishdal in Birbhum district. Near Birbhum district. That is different? Okay. In your area, what is your area?
Sir, actually my father was posted here.
Okay.
That's why, sir, there's a palace also here.
Hmm.
Before the British also time, and the British never captured that palace, and still the zamindars are still there.
Okay. Without British rule, that continued. No British rule there. Okay. Which district it comes? Midnapur district. Okay. This is located in Birbhum district. Pandurajar Dibi, Mahishdal, Chirand, eastern part. Ahar, Gilund, Balatal, this part. Jorvi, Daimabad, Inamgaon, this part. Kayata, Naudatoli. It entered into Chalgolithic phase also.
And Chalcolithic is also. Sir, suddenly why the Bhimbetka place is not to be seen anywhere again? Because we can only see down in Paleolithic. Bhimbetka wise suddenly it disappears.
Bhimbetka, Adamgar, they are hilly areas. And one regional characteristic of these are agriculture people. Agriculture requires plain area. Gradually, these hilly people are going towards plain areas. And Paleolithic people, most of the Paleolithic stone tools which we discovered near to hilly areas. And this is the area Bhimbetka, Adamgar, Vindhyan range. Vindhyan range is hilly area. They settled and gradually they moved towards the plain area. That is how Belan Valley saw the Mesolithic, and from Mesolithic to Neolithic, Neolithic to Chalcolithic age it will enter. When it comes to timeline, we are talking about these timelines from 2100 BCE to 700 BCE. Two 2100 BCE to 700 BCE. Now you observe 2100, it is also the period when Harappan civilization was flourishing. Here we are not mentioning that because we will deal separately Harappan civilization, but some are contemporary to Harappan.
That's why the variation also happened because in the K3 mines they got copper and
Harappan people got the copper from K3 mines. Ganeshwar. There is a place called Ganeshwar. Ganeshwar culture. They used to get from Afghanistan, Badakhshan area, that area. They were having the trade with this side also. Now you observe the difference. And in this location, when it comes to Chalcolithic, we are mentioning these mainly. But here also, Chalcolithic is going on. But in this geographical location, it is also Chalcolithic and Neolithic also started at the same time only. That's why we consider these areas as Neolithic, Chalcolithic. In map marking also, UPSC marks some place and it says Neolithic, Chalcolithic culture. You say this. Chalcolithic site. UPSC has asked in 2017 the terminology what used by UPSC. A Chalcolithic site. 2017, 9th one, 11th one. In 14, 12th one. 13, 2 questions. And in 12, 6 questions from Chalcolithic itself. It mentions, now you see, megalithic Chalcolithic site. What does it mean? Along with the Chalcolithic settlements, Neolithic started. Around the same time, copper usage also started. After their death, they practiced megalithic. Their dead bodies are covered with huge stones. We call these cultures as megalithic cultures. Wherever burial practices with a huge lot of stones, big boulders we consider as megalithic. That's why some of the same sites, they began as Neolithic. They started using copper also. After their death, they practiced megalithic burials also. Any site can be, some sites can show all the 3 characteristics. Some sites show Neolithic Chalcolithic characteristics. Some sites will show Chalcolithic megalithic. In that way, you can see a megalithic Chalcolithic site. Neolithic megalithic Chalcolithic site. Neolithic Chalcolithic site. Chalcolithic period site and Chalcolithic site. Every year you will find, for example, if we go to a Neolithic Chalcolithic site 2017-2. Can you identify where is second one? Second, Sanju, are you able to follow? In which state this second one? Karnataka? Are you identifying? In Deccan area, in South India. In these areas, we have Neolithic characteristics also, at the same time Chalcolithic characteristics also. This way you are going to identify all this. A Neolithic, Chalcolithic, megalithic and Chalcolithic, 2013, 9th one. 2013, 9th one. Where it is, 9th one? Same place. Now you see the importance of, there are some important sites, same sites will come in the form of, same site can be asked as simply Neolithic also. Same sites can be asked as Neolithic Chalcolithic also. Same sites can be asked as Chalcolithic, megalithic, Neolithic. Here, Halur is there, Brahmagiri is there. This one, this with accuracy we will identify. Because unless we draw exact latitude, longitude, we cannot identify the which exact location. That map practice, we have to do it. Just in this particular location, we have so many sites. After finishing Harappan, we will start the map. But first we are going to know the overall description. Once you know the connections, then you will have better idea while dealing with the map. Just in this location, we have so many places. Here we have different places. This area shows Neolithic also. Around 3000 BC onwards, Neolithic settlement starts. And gradually they emerged into Chalcolithic also. When they are using stone tools and copper tools, this area already Harappan civilization emerged. That's why already some settlements are there. Here gold mine is there, like here copper mine is there, K3. Here one gold mine is there. Which is the one? Kolar. Probably Harappans, they know gold. They know gold also, silver also, copper also. How did they get the gold? Probably from Kolar region, they might have imported. Copper from this area, gold from this area. They had trade relations from Central Asia and West Asia. By the time Harappans already developed, now you see this. These people are living in villages. But these people are living in urban areas. It is not surprising even today also. For example, this side Bombay and this side still tribal people. Chhattisgarh, Odisha region, one of the poorest areas in India. In Northeast also still, because of the geographical nature, the speed of progress changes from time period to time period. When it comes to this area, it has advantage of continuous interactions from this side. And these people are also progressing. Neolithic stage, Chalcolithic stage, Bronze Age civilization. And naturally, interaction between these two will be there. And these people know about these people also know about these people. And Harappan people were called as Meluha in Mesopotamia. That was the name at those times. Today we are calling it as Harappan because Harappa is the first site we discovered. If it is something, Kalibangan, if Kalibangan is the first site, we might be calling Kalibangan culture. Initially it was thought only all these settlements were there on the Indus River. That's why we name it as Indus civilization, Indus Valley civilization. Because already in this time period, Sumerian civilization, Hoang Ho civilization, Egyptian civilization, also called Nile Valley civilization. Because in these areas, settlements were completely dependent on this particular river. Initially, when these settlements were discovered, archaeologists were having the belief that only just surrounding Indus River settlements were there. But later they discovered that similar kind of characteristics, same urban areas, same water management, same town planning, they are identified even far beyond the Indus River. They identified even at this location, they identified at this location, they identified here up to eastern UP, western UP. Later they found that now it is better to call Harappan civilization rather than Indus Valley civilization. If it is Indus Valley, it becomes a misnomer and it will not cover the places beyond Indus Valley. If it is Harappan, we are considering Harappa as the first site, that name is given. These type of sites we call type sites. Type sites means the first site which we discover, we give that particular name to the entire culture. Type site. This is the same reason we are calling Jorvi culture, because Jorvi in our Jorvi culture, because Jorvi is a place type site. Ahar culture, Ahar is type site in this location. Likewise, different regions, whenever you identify one particular site is the beginning site, if you consider that as the reference to compare with other archaeological site, we give that entire region with that particular name. Jorvi culture, Ahar culture, then here Malwa culture. If there is no particular thing, then we give the region name, Malwa culture. Likewise, Harappan culture. These are, some are contemporary to Harappan people, some are post Harappan people. And these are the people using copper. One of the limitations of these people is, even though this area they were using the bronze, these people were not using the bronze. Because of changes, different geographical location, they have different limitations. Ideas will spread slowly. As a result, they were, now in this location, they were still living in the Neolithic stage. Just emerged Chalcolithic phase. This is how Neolithic, Chalcolithic. So time period you mentioned 2100 to 700 BC. When it comes to map marking, we get different sites like this. While doing map, you are going to get a lot of sites. In Karnataka, you will get Neolithic site, Chalcolithic site, Megalithic site. In Tamil Nadu, you will get same. Chronology wise, we are going to do. With latitude, longitude, we are going to do. I will show mind maps also so that you will have better picture. And when you, after your preparation of map, if I ask you to write the same question, what are the regional characteristics of Chalcolithic? What are the regional characteristics of Neolithic? Your answer should contain so much evidence. Today, while we are writing, we have given only few evidences. But after knowing map, you should be able to draw as much evidence as possible from different regions. This way, this is Chalcolithic. Now, same structure. What we have to see? What is their subsistence pattern? Here just I will broadly give. In next class we are going to see in detail and I will dictate the answer also. For example, subsistence. Now these people just emerged from Neolithic stage and the Neolithic itself has seen agriculture and they are going to practice agriculture. Domestication of animals. Now this is proto-history, proto-historic period we are seeing. Up to Neolithic prehistory, these institutions are just emerging. Now in Chalcolithic period, they are going to become very strong. So many artisan activities, industrial activities, trade also we are going to see. All these are different subsistence pattern. At the same time, hunting and gathering continuing. It continues even today also. This practice hunting and gathering still continues. It is not surprising that Chalcolithic people who are following hunting and gathering, domestication of animals, agriculture, artisan activities, trade. When it comes to technology, they were using stone tools also, just emerged from Neolithic stone, copper. In some places, low grade bronze. Just low grade. It is not like Harappan people. Harappan people, they used bronze at very high level. And even in some places, low grade iron. They utilized, but dominant things are stone and copper. This is the metal usage. This is the metal usage, and this metal now, because of this, the consequences on the subsistence pattern is going to change. This we call proto-historic period. As a result, society will change. When it comes to society, they are living in villages. Village society. Then gender role, like a men role, women role. When it comes to religious beliefs, burial practices, and on pottery some designs. They were designing on pottery like some trees, some animals. And when it comes to terracotta images, Mother Goddess, these religious beliefs, society. Now it is going to become, all these institutions which are going to see in historic period already are gaining some shape in Chalcolithic period. Subsistence, technology also, society also, religion also. When it comes to art, pottery designs, and when it comes to art, they were using beads also, bead industry also. With stone, they made different items, and pottery painting, pottery designs. Like this, all the institutions, whatever we are going to see for the historic period, they are going to take the final shape in Chalcolithic period. When it comes to regional characteristics, we have to use in these places what evidence, in what type of houses they lived, and what type of subsistence pattern they were following, what type of religious beliefs they were following. All those things we have to see. Just you broadly mention this, we will stop here. Just you note down this. Beads, stone, painting, pottery painting. Okay. Now these are the same institutions we are going to see for Harappan people also. Because Harappans they are living around this area only. They are contemporary to Chalcolithic. And in fact, whatever Harappan civilization we are talking, there were more than 2000 sites were discovered as part of Harappan civilization. All those 2000 sites are not urban areas. Only few sites are the major urban centers like Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Kalibangan, Chanhudaro, like that. Remaining all the areas are village people only. When it comes to subsistence pattern of Harappan people, we are going to write about agriculture also. Because of the strong agriculture only, they could build strong urban areas. And who are these agrarian people? Chalcolithic people. The other contemporary Chalcolithic people are also there, but they were living in villages, but they supplied raw materials to the urban areas. So these Chalcolithics are village, they provided urban areas the raw materials. Within Harappan civilization also, village settlements were there, they were providing agriculture products and other raw materials. Urban areas provided finished goods as products and they were sending to the rural areas. That's why now you should be very, very careful in understanding Harappan civilization is also flourishing at this time. Some of the Chalcolithic sites are contemporary to Harappan, some are late Harappan, some are post Harappan. By 700 BC means some sites in Maharashtra area, they were there up to 700 BC. What does it mean? By 700 BCE, Harappan civilization gone. Early Vedic period also gone. Later Vedic time period also emerging. And even kingdoms are also emerged. Mahajanapada time period, around 700, about to come. In Gangetic Valley, when kingdoms are emerging, still people are living in basic primitive. Even today also, for example, in Andaman Nicobar, some primitive tribes are there. Even in the mainland, in Dandakaranya, in northeastern, still tribal people are there. In Madhya Pradesh also, tribal people are there. But they are completely surrounded with urban areas. So it is natural that there was one debate like when these people are living in why? When they are living in urban areas, why these people did not live in urban areas? And the same question applies even today also. Why Delhi, Bombay, Kolkata, Chennai are mega cities? Why still some are still living in urban, rural areas? Yeah, so on one hand primitive tribes, on one hand urban areas. So this is the characteristic of Indian society. In our GS1 paper 1, characteristics of Indian society. On one hand we are living in ultra modern life. On the other hand, just primitive life. So two extremes within the same geographic land. Because of various factors. Cultural factors are there, historical factors are there, geographical factors are there. All these factors are making that particular area, whether it is urban or similarly, there was one question, what are the causes for rise of Harappans? Archaeologists and scholars say they don't know because their contemporaries are village people. That's why Harappans are also basically village people and they don't know how to build cities. Someone came from West Asia and they started building the urban areas. Foreign origin theory. But here we have the evidence. We are talking about Paleolithic, we are talking about Neolithic, we are talking about Chalcolithic. Then what about these people? So these are the real builders of the Harappan civilization. So to understand Harappan civilization, this particular connectivity is very much required. Before Harappans itself, now in Harappan, what are the characteristics of Harappans? We are going to study the same thing. And we are talking about the same thing for the societies which were there before Harappan also. So in fact, before Harappan itself, these institutions emerged. And they reached the very high level during Harappan time period. That's why the connectivity between Neolithic, Chalcolithic is important to understand Harappan. Harappan is not going to be a difficult one if you know this connectivity. But if you start directly Harappa, then it becomes confusion. That's why I have taken some time to make you understand this. Once you understand up to this, your map, 50 marks are there. Out of 50, up to 25 marks, sites will come from prehistoric sites only, around 25. If they ask some 15 mark or 20 marker question, that means up to 40 marks, up to prehistory only. Then if you include Harappa also in this, then your score will up to 70, 80 marks up to Harappa only. That's why I am giving so much, because other topics becomes at least easy to read, but this part is not that easy to connect. That's why I have taken this much time, and I am showing you all these geographic locations also, how our society is evolving. And rest of the society is just, it is building on top of this. This is the very, very foundation level. Okay? So up to here. Sanju, are you following? Clear? Understood up to here? Okay. I will give you the structure of the classes from now onwards. Every week. Monday we have class. Tuesday also class. Wednesday I will give assignments. No class, assignment. You need not to come to the class. You finish this assignment. Thursday and Friday you have the class. And Saturday you have test, mini test. not full length, mini test. Beginning, starting, whatever happened up to this, I will just give you initially basic questions only, because you have to be trained from basic level to the advanced level. Whatever is happening on Monday, Tuesday and up to this class, just you read it. And assignment, just I will give some references, book references, chapter names, you follow them. And also you try to make short notes also gradually, because this practice has to be a regular one. Before examination, you will not have time to revise all the lines, all the pages you cannot read. Only short notes is required. So such kind of assignment I will give you. Once again, Thursday, Friday class, and with Saturday you are going to test yourself up to what level you are there. Monday, Tuesday class, Wednesday assignment, Thursday class, Friday class, Saturday test. Tomorrow no class. For tomorrow what you need to do, just you revise whatever happened up to now. Sanju, you follow the previous videos. Last week videos were there. You watch all of them. Just I have explained basic level, Paleolithic, Mesolithic, those things, you just finish them, so that you will have connectivity. What happened in the previous classes, you can finish by tomorrow. And you read up to now Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic in R.S. Sharma. If you have Upinder Singh, just go through it. Sanju, just if you have Upinder Singh, just you open the pages, just go through the maps. Because maps Upinder Singh has given in a very good manner, good presentation. Just go through the maps. So by Thursday, you should have at least one reading of R.S. Sharma. Upinder Singh, if you have, just go through the images and maps. You revise all the classes. Sanju, you just watch previous videos so that you will have complete connectivity up to now. Okay, all right. Tomorrow no class, we will meet on Thursday. Okay, Sanju?